welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be creating in my Dina Wakley ledger journal. I have some images that I've just moved to the side there from the Collage soup. I believe it's the Face It book. And I'm just going to do a quick page inspired by Liz at Buttons for Brains. I will pop the link to her channel below because yeah, this was very much inspired by a page that she did. I believe she called hers something like 5 Faces, but as I said, I'll pop the link below. So first of all, what I'm doing is just popping a bit of gesso across my pages. I plan to leave the top and the bottom as kind of white space and leave that ledger or that lovely ledger print showing there. So I've just popped the gesso across the middle of the double page spread. I have, I think, 5 images. It might be 4. I'm pretty sure it's 5. I like odd numbers. And I've used colours that are within those images. Now, the colours in the images are paler, sort of more muted colours than I have. So all I'm doing is mixing a little bit of white Daler Rowney graduate acrylic with my original colours to get that sort of muted, paler look to my paint. I'm hoping that then I can match the colours quite well in my painting. So here you can see I've used pink, which is magenta. The yellow, I believe, is actually just called yellow. The orange is called orange, and the blue is called uniform blue. And now I'm just going in with really, really rough strokes up and down my page to give myself that kind of yellow background. This brush is a dry brush, so I get those kind of nice, I don't really know how to describe them, but brushy brush strokes, I guess. I don't really know. I just like the effect that a dry brush gives. So I haven't washed my brush in between colours. I don't mind if I get a little bit of the blue onto the yellow, which kind of would make it a bit greeny. I don't mind that. And again, I'm just going in with the colours on top of the yellow. So the blue, the pink and the orange with, again, really rough brush strokes, but not covering. As you can see, I'm doing it in kind of little sections this time. I want the yellow to be the base. So I just go through adding what I feel here and there. Obviously, a lot of that middle bit is going to be covered up with my images. So I'm just extending them to make sure that you can see some of that colour peeking out of the top and the bottom once I put my images back down. So I'm done now with the colour, or for now I am anyway. And what I decide now is I'm going to pop some white on. So you can just see me squeeze a bit of white out. And then I've grabbed my hairdryer just to give that a bit of a dry off. So before I do my stenciling with the white, I've dried the underlayers just so that the white doesn't get mixed in as much. This is a little stencil. I believe I got this in America, so it was a cheap one out of a pack from sort of Michael's or Joann's or somewhere, but it's like brickwork. Obviously, if you was trying to recreate the page, use any stencils you have. So this is, yeah, just a very basic brickwork, and I'm just using that across the whole centre of the spread with that white paint, just to put a little bit more interest in that background. And then I decided that actually I'd like it to go down a bit lower. I think what happened was I realised that my images were going to cover nearly all of that. So I've extended that out to where I've put the colour initially. And then I believe I dry that off. So I'm just using a standard hairdryer. Obviously, if you have a heat tool, you can use that. If you are patient or more patient than me, then you could also just let that dry. It is quite hot in Morocco, and the paints do dry quickly, but I'm still that little bit impatient, and I just want to kind of crack on with my page. So I do grab my heat tool every now and then. This is a stencil. I think it's the Marks stencil by Dina Wakley. I will pop the actual stencil name in the description below. I can't see what's written on it from here. But what I'm doing is I'm using the same colours that I had in the background, and I'm just extending those brush strokes out with this lined part of the stencil, just to bring a few lines at the top and the bottom, a little bit of interest, rather than just the brush strokes. So as you can see, I'm kind of just sort of spreading them across the page. Sometimes I am linking them to those brush strokes, so it looks like the brush stroke has been sort of stretched out into those lines. And yeah, that gets dried. Now I've grabbed out my white paint pen. This is a Staedtler Lumocolor paint pen. I just prep it onto a little bit of plastic, any bit of plastic. This is like the packaging of a stamp set. Prep it on there, and then I'm just flicking it to make some splatters. You don't need to bang these pens with the pair of scissors like I am. I recently had an operation on my arms. If you've been following me for a while, I've probably mentioned it. So I can't flick to get the splatters that I want at the moment, because the pressure in my arm is just too much at the moment. So yes, I just use a pair of scissors to bang it with. Some people use a paintbrush. You could bang it with another pen, but just a way to get that splatter on. Now I've grabbed these little crisscross background stamp. I believe it's a Tracy Scott one. And I'm just adding in some black little crisscrosses across my page, but still with the kind of up and down movements. So keeping them portrait, even though I'm going horizontally across the page. All the painting and the stamping is a portrait paint, so from top to bottom rather than from side to side. This one is a text stamp. This is also a Tracy Scott stamp. This is from TS065, one of my favourite text stamps at the moment. It's kind of loopy, nice writing. So I do love adding a bit of text to my backgrounds. So yeah, I'm adding that as well to give a little bit more interest. And now I've brought my images back. These are on a page in the Faceit book. There are 9 images on this page, so I just cut them all out and then picked out the ones I wanted to use, and I'll use the others on another page. So here I'm kind of auditioning where I want them to go, working out what would look good across the centre, obviously, because I need to fold that centre piece, or you could cut it. It depends on the image to whether I cut it or fold it. Because this is a face, I didn't want the cut down the middle, so I have folded that and stuck it across the both pages. So I'm just going to stick these in now, just using a Bic Glue Stick. I find this to be a quite good glue stick. Don't buy the cheapo glue sticks, because yeah, you'll find that they don't really stick that well, but this Bic one's quite good. I've also used Elmer's and Yoo-hoo, as well as a normal Pritt stick, but I can't get Pritt stick here in Morocco, so Bic and Yoo-hoo is what I can get, and they're both good. I did try a Norris brand, but again, I felt like I used up half a glue stick just on one image and it still didn't stick. So yeah, just bear in mind that sometimes the cheapest supplies are not the best, especially for glue sticks. So I've just stuck all those down, all at kind of jaunty angles, as I'm going to say, going across my page. And as you can see, the colours in the background match quite well to the colours in those images there. So that's what I was trying to say to you at the beginning, like the colours are muted rather than brights. So I try to sort of match those colours. Now I'm just grabbing out my Unibal pen. This is a fine one, black ink, and I'm just outlining my images. I use sort of scribbly, scratchy lines, if you like, just sort of a couple of them. If you're someone that likes perfection, you could sort of go a bit slower and get your lines perfect. I do like the scribbly look, and it matches well with the way the faces are drawn. They've got quite scribbly lines in them. Also, if you make a mistake when you're doing a scribbly line, it doesn't really look like a mistake. It looks like it's meant to be. So I think what I've decided now is that I want some more splatter, because I've covered those girls' faces. And I am going to probably use some black now. I didn't see what I squirted out, but I think it's black. It is. So that's just some black acrylic. I've added some water to that and using my fan brush just to create a few more splatters to bring a little bit of the black back into the page to match with the stamping and obviously the black that I've just done around those images. Got a couple of big splats at the bottom there, so just clean them up before you dry it, because once you've dried it you won't clean them. And then as you can see, I made a massive mistake and smudged that black bit. So I do try to fix it with a bit of paint and then a bit of white paint. It doesn't quite work. I believe I put a quote over that later, although even from looking at it now, if I left it like that it wouldn't be too bad as what it was before with the big orange patch on it. I don't really know what I was thinking there. Anywho, we live and learn and we try to fix our mistakes, or there are no mistakes in art, everything can be fixed. So here I've got the, I think they're called Small Talk from Tim Holtz. I love these quote stickers. Mine are losing their stick a bit. I believe it's just because it's hot here in Morocco and, you know, things lose their stick, as you can see there. That popped straight back up. Sometimes I do add a little bit of PVA or sticky glue just to help those stick down a bit more. Or sometimes I come back to the page and I find that one of them's peeled up, so then I'll just stick them all down with a bit of PVA. These ones seem to be sticking okay. But here I am just trying to find kind of a quote to not pop with each image as such, but each image does have a little sort of quote with it. And there I am putting some at the bottom just to cover up that splat of black paint that I tried to fix earlier. And then to even it up, I put a couple at the top as well. As I said, I do love text on my page. I love these little quotes, so I do kind of go a little bit mad with them sometimes. But yeah, that's basically my page done. I believe I'm going to outline them because I normally do. Yep, so there comes my black pen, sorry, not paint pen, my back Unibal pen again. And again with those scribbly lines, just outlining those. So if you've liked this video, I'd really appreciate a like or a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you will. That would be amazing. It does help my channel to grow, and then that helps the algorithm of good old YouTube to show my videos to more and more people. And that's what I'm here for, just to share some of my creativeness with you guys. So thanks for watching. Here's a couple of close-ups. Those images from Collage Soup are absolutely amazing. I suggest you check her website out. There's lots of images to choose from there and some freebies every now and then, so that's great. So for now, I'm just going to say goodbye, and I hope to see you again for another Friday Art Focus. Have a great day. Bye-bye.